Lesson 1.6, subtracting integers. The definition the book gives for subtracting integers is subtracting integers. In words, it's saying to subtract an integer, subtract an integer, add its opposite. This is sort of say that if you have 3 minus 7, this would be the same thing as 3 adding its opposite, negative 7's opposite, negative 7's opposite, which would be 7. If we're adding, if 3 minus 7, it would be 3 plus 7's opposite, so negative 7. But this would be easier to do. This is how it gives it to us. So A minus B equals A plus the opposite of B. So negative B. Example 1. It's just you applying the subtracting integers, like what they told us about it. Example 1. We get, they give us 4 minus 10. But then we would get it and we would do 4 plus 10's opposite, so negative 10. And then this would just equal negative 6. 4 minus 10 is negative 6, and 4 plus negative 10 is negative 6. So it's like you're starting at 4 and you're going 10 to the left. You're starting at 4 and you're going negative 10. You're moving 10 in the negative direction. So both ways you get negative 6. I personally prefer to think of it as 4 minus 10 as just you start at 4 and you go 10 to the left. But like we learned in last chapter, when they give it to you like this is the same thing. You could think of it both ways, whatever works best for you and like for you to picture it. This is A, and then B is negative 2 minus negative 9. So how I said it like two lessons ago, I think it was in 1.4, when you're subtracting a negative integer, I like to think of it as just adding a positive integer. So what this says is that it's a negative 2 plus negative 9's opposite, which is 9. This basically just explains my method of just think of it as it's like this and it's going like that. Like it's going like that. Then negative 2 plus 9, you start at negative 2 and you go 9 in the positive direction, brings you to 7. It's all example 1. And now example 2. Is about evaluating variable expressions when you're subtracting integers. So let's say you have, this is A. So you have x minus negative 40. Oh, but x equals negative 9. I forgot to say that. X equals negative 9. So you could rewrite this as negative 9 minus negative 40. And then you have something similar to what we had in example 1. This equals negative 9 plus negative 40's opposite, so 40. Negative makes a positive. So negative 9 plus 40 equals 31. In B, we get 7 minus x, which you could rewrite as 7 minus negative 9. Which you could rewrite as 7 plus negative 9's opposite, so 9. Negative, negative, positive. This would equal 16. Which brings us to example 3, which is sort of like a word problem. example 3, which is more like a word problem. We're trying to find the change in elevation of a mountain from 2002 to 1962. So change in elevation from 2002 from 1962 to 2002. So we would always get the final elevation and subtract the initial elevation, and we see like whether it went up, whether it went down. So we developed the equation: change in elevation is elevation in 2002 minus elevation in 1962. So change in elevation equals, elevation in 2002 is negative 182. This mountain is below water, that's why the elevation is negative. Elevation 2002 is negative 180 minus the elevation in 1962, which was negative 235. So here you would do negative 180 plus the opposite of negative 235, which is 235. And then after adding this, we get that the elevation would be 53. So either the water went down and the mountain, therefore the mountain was more up, or the mountain just grew and it surpassed water. It was initially negative and then it went 235 up, so it passed it to negative 180. In the negative direction, it went up 53. So it ended up being 53 meters. This is, everything is in meters. Meters above water.